Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and in today's video I will be going over the new 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray pre-orders and announcements for August 11th, 2023. Now keep in mind, release dates and technical specs are subject to change. If there are any changes or additional retailer exclusives, I will update them in a future video. Also, be sure to check out my previous 4K pre-order videos for titles you may be looking for and were not covered here. Direct Amazon links to the titles listed in this video can be found on the channel community page. Universal announced a bunch of titles coming out in October, specifically October 3rd it seems like. So first up, It Came from Outer Space. The classic sci-fi film will be finally arriving to 4K. It is expected on October 3rd with a standard edition and also a Universal's Essentials Collection version limited to 5,000 copies, also available on October 3rd. Both of these are up for pre-order at your various online retailers. This was definitely unexpected, but a most welcome surprise, as Frank Darabont's The Mist will be arriving on 4K from Lionsgate on October 3rd. It will support HDR, Dolby Vision, and a new Dolby Atmos audio mix. If you've seen the movie, you know it could definitely be used to good effect. It will be available as a slipcover and a Best Buy exclusive Steelbook edition. Now, also, both versions of the film, the color and the black and white, will be in 4K. I know that's important to a lot of people, myself included, so I'm very happy here with this upcoming 4K release. Universal also announced on October 3rd that the Monsters collection, which features all 8 4K editions of the Universal Classic Monsters, will be available in one set. It doesn't look like this year, at least, we're going to be getting any additional Universal Monsters 4K releases, but I think for those that have been waiting for a collection of the previous movies released already, you can pick this one up. Also on October 3rd, I told you, Universal is really being heavy-handed on that particular day for some reason. The Universal Essentials Collection version of The Sting will be available. It will have the same tech specs and transfer as the previous 4K release. The only thing different is the new extras. This is currently up for pre-order over at Amazon and other online retailers. In last week's video, we announced the standard edition of Shout Factory Scream Factory's Pumpkinhead on 4K for October 10th, while now it looks like there will be an additional exclusive Best Buy Steelbook of the film released on the same day. So it is currently up for pre-order over at Best Buy. Tentatively scheduled for October 17th, it looks like the horror film Talk to Me will be arriving on 4K. Now, this is a tentative release date, as I said, but it makes sense that they want to get this out before Halloween, so I'm pretty much fine with putting it down as the 17th. If it changes, I will update that in a future video. Now, also a weird thing is there appears to be 2 separate 4K editions of the film. I'm seeing rumors that this one pictured here is going to be an Amazon exclusive, but this is still a little fuzzy. And as far as tech specs go, we don't have exactly the right specs, but I expect HDR and Dolby Vision, and I'd be very surprised if it did not have a Dolby Atmos mix. But once again, stay tuned to the channel. When all this becomes more official, I will update it here. As was mentioned here about a month ago, it looks like Volume 3 of the Alfred Hitchcock collection is still scheduled for October 31st. The official artwork has been announced, which, as you can see here, matches the other 2 editions. Now, if you also want the individual releases, you could pick them up also on the same day. The films featured in this particular wave are Rope, Torn Curtain, Frenzy, Topaz, and The Man Who Knew Too Much. As a big Hitchcock fan, I will definitely be picking up the individuals. Let me know in the comments if you plan on either getting the collection or the individual releases. Era Video's 4K edition of Black Hat has once again been delayed, and the tentative, and I'm saying tentative, release date is October 31st. I mean, seriously, this thing could move well into next year at this rate. Just as a reminder, it will support HDR, Dolby Vision, and DTS 5.1 audio. Fresh off the presses, it looks like on November 21st, Paramount will be releasing the 4K edition of Stalag 17. We don't have any official artwork or tech specs, but since this is a Paramount release, I fully expect HDR and Dolby Vision. As far as audio, probably it's going to be the original track, but once again, stay tuned to the channel and I will update it when it becomes official. Kino Lorber announced this week that a 4K edition of the film Sneakers will be arriving, I would assume sometime in 2024. As per usual, HDR and Dolby Vision are expected, and DTS audio. And the first exclusive for the 4K edition of Meg 2 The Trench has been announced as a Best Buy exclusive Steelbook. It's currently up for pre-order over on their website. And as per expected, we don't have an official release date, but I expect this to be released sometime before the end of the year. There are a couple of international pre-orders and announcements to go over in this week's video, and also keep in mind that most 4K discs are region-free. On September 18th, the UK will be getting their 4K edition of The Misfits, starring Marilyn Monroe, Montgomery Clift, and Clark Gable. It will support HDR and DTS audio. Germany will have the 4K edition of the film Raven's Hollow on September 22nd. I've actually never heard of this one. Let me know if you have and if it's worth checking out. On September 25th, the 4K edition of the film Breaking the Waves will be available in the UK. I believe this is the first Lars von Trier movie to arrive on the formats. I'm hoping we get additional films. I would love to see Melancholia on 4K, but if you're a fan of this one, you could pick this one up on the 25th of September. Over in Germany on September 29th, they will be getting their 4K edition of Billy Wilder's The Apartment. Now, what makes this very interesting is that, according to even the cover art here, it does support HDR, whereas the Kino Lorber release here in the States did not. So I'll be very curious to see comparison shots on this one, but I may actually import it. I am a huge fan of the film, so we'll see how it goes. But once again, the end of September, you'll be able to pick this one up in Germany. The German release of Rosemary's Baby on 4K is currently scheduled for October 12th. It will support HDR and Dolby Vision as expected here in the States. No word yet on the audio situation. This was also announced about a month or so ago here on the channel, but October 19th, we now have the 4K cover art for the film Delicatessen arriving in Germany. In the UK, a 4K Steelbook edition of Ghost Dog: The Way of the Samurai is scheduled for release on October 19th. Released by Eagle Pictures, it looks like the 4K edition of, I think it's Dampire or Dampier, will be out on October 25th. The latest Titans of Cult release has been announced for November 27th, as Ridley Scott's Gladiator is scheduled for release. Now, presumably it will have the same tech specs as the current 4K edition, which means HDR, Dolby Vision, and DTS:X audio. There is also an Ultimate edition of the film available on the same day. I believe the Titan edition is already starting to sell out at places like Zavi, but I think other online retailers currently have it as of this recording, so you may want to hop on it quick. These tend to sell out. German retailers will be getting the 4K edition of Kandahar, scheduled for release on December 1st. Though we don't have a current scheduled release date as of this recording, the 4K edition of Megan will be coming sometime in the near future to German retailers. I love the cover art. I think this would be really cool to have here in the States. I'm hoping they do something very similar, and it is expected to support HDR, Dolby Vision, and Dolby Atmos audio. I would also expect in Germany for this release to come sometime in October, probably right around the same time as the US domestic. The Halloween H2O Steelbook edition will also be available in that market. The 4K edition of the Ben Affleck film Hypnotic is also scheduled to release sometime in the near future. And lastly this week, it looks like the UK market has beaten everybody to the punch as the upcoming 4K release was first announced there of Gran Turismo. This is not even out in theaters yet, but I think we all expected a 4K release. This is Sony, and given the nature of the film, very much anticipating a Dolby Atmos audio mix here, and of course HDR and Dolby Vision are also expected. So those are this week's 4K pre-orders and announcements for August 11th, 2023. Don't forget to use the Amazon affiliate links on the channel's community page if you're interested in any of the titles that are currently active. And also be sure to let me know in the comments what titles I talked about in this video you're planning to pick up for yourself. And finally, a special thank you to my Patreons for your continued support. If you would like to support me through Patreon, I will leave a link in the description of this video. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.